Hello, and welcome to Raven Light Healing Meditations. This is my 100-day Sit for Peace challenge, and today is day 23. When I saw the Walk for Peace, I felt inspired to take action in my own life and created this 100-day Sit for Peace challenge where every day for 100 days I will sit for 1 hour in mindfulness practice. And today I'm at the Emerald Tea House again. Thank you to everyone that's supporting me. I'm very excited and happy that everyone is encouraging me and wanting to participate. It really builds the energy and gives all that peace out into the world. So with that, let's get started with day 23. We'll start by finding that relaxed posture. Sitting up straight. Relax the shoulders. Find a relaxing place to place your hands. Look straight ahead and close your eyes. Then we'll get our mind into position by bringing our attention to the breath. We use the breath as a steady foundation because it's the closest thing you can know outside of your mind. Evaluating the breath can tell you a lot about your mental states. When you pay attention, you begin to notice the subtle changes in the breathing, and you become aware of the shifts in your mental state. We practice to develop a constant, steady flame of awareness. Mindfulness means to keep something in mind. And alertness means to know what is happening. What we keep in mind is remembering to stay with the breath. Remembering the things that help in the training of the mind. There are a series of themes to keep in mind, to remember when you find your meditation wandering off course in the direction of doubt, laziness, discouragement, or general hopelessness. We keep in mind that every moment is an invitation, an opportunity, room for effort and growth. We keep in mind that the potential for happiness lies in our actions. Our actions are important. Our happiness, our lack of happiness, depends on our actions. So we train the mind to focus our attention on watching the actions, the thoughts, and then we can make adjustments and change our lives, change our minds. Focusing on the breath trains our mind to stay in the present moment. When we practice this, we begin to see cause and effect more clearly. As we practice, if we notice that the mind has gone off, we just bring it back. and in our lives, in our actions. If we feel we have made a mistake, resolve not to make it again. If we see that our actions have gone off course, resolve not to do them again, and put effort and mindfulness behind your practice, behind your life. We must train the mind to see what it's hiding from itself so that we can become better acquainted with the human we live in. And this is why radical honesty and truthfulness is so necessary. We have to see the patterns before we can heal and change them. Wisdom starts with asking the question, what, when I do it, will lead to my long-term welfare and happiness? And here, the emphasis is on the long term, and it builds on the realization that you are responsible for the actions that lead to that happiness. So when you've been on course, when you've been putting in your effort, develop a sense of happiness and joy. Our minds often have a habit of mistrusting that joy. We think somehow that the critical thoughts in our minds are more real, and that the more self-congratulatory thoughts are deluded. That's not the case. When you do something right, you should congratulate yourself, be proud. This goes hand in hand with the sense of goodwill we feel towards ourselves and others. It's important for us to find that balance between humility and praise. If you criticize your actions all the time, you can become discouraged. And if you praise yourself all the time, you can become self-obsessed. So we want to be mindful to find just the right balance. There is no value in harshness, even to yourself. There is nothing harshness can do that loving firmness can't do better. So again, if you make a mistake, that's okay. Just resolve to do your best. Be mindful of making the same mistake again. Remember, you do some things right. Focus on those to put the mind in a good mood. When we're meditating, we're looking for both a good mood and a good object. Often we use the breath or the body as the object. By focusing on the object, we develop our mindfulness. think about the times where you do hold true to your principles. What does that look like for you? Remember the times when you were generous. How does that feel? Remember times when others were generous to you. How does that feel? Call these memories to mind as a way of giving yourself energy on the path. And once you're on the path, reflect again on what mindfulness means. You're keeping something in mind. Like right now, we're keeping in mind the breath. We're tuning in to that part of our experience. Our experience has many layers. You might think of it as many frequencies, like the radio waves going through the air. You can tune in to many channels. lots of different stations from all over the world. It's simply a matter of choosing which frequency, which layer to tune into. The same holds true when you're keeping the breath in mind. When you create a frame of reference here in the present moment, there are lots of things you can tune into. You can choose the body, you can choose feelings, mental states, mental qualities. These frequencies are on the path. And there are other frequencies that are off the path. Our meditation consists of choosing the frequencies most beneficial for the mind, most beneficial for humanity, for our personal and collective growth. So try tuning in to the breath. Be aware of the breath, making it your point of reference in relationship to everything you do while you're sitting here quietly with your eyes closed. And even when you get up and go about your day, try to stay tuned in with the breath. Be deliberate, be aware, and mindful about your frame of reference. You can be aware of the body in two ways: internally and externally. Externally means how the body relates to the world outside. When you're dealing with other people, conversations, relationships, you want to have a frame of reference that includes the outside world, but isn't attached to it. You can stay tuned into the body, even as you're involved in dealing with other people. Being sensitive to how these relationships register with the body. Then, when you're sitting again with your eyes closed, you can make your frame of reference totally internal. You can tune in to the sense of space that permeates the body and extends out in all directions. There are many layers you can tune into that qualify as the body. There are varieties of awareness and mindfulness. We simply want to be conscious and deliberate about the frequencies, the different layers, the different levels that we're tuning into. We practice so we can shift levels mindfully, so we can tune in consciously through our own intentional choosing. There's an old science fiction story about a spaceship that didn't have to use fuel. It moved by changing its frame of reference. If its frame of reference was here on Earth, it would stay still on Earth. If it switched its frame of reference to the sun, it would suddenly zip out into space, away from the direction of Earth, and revolving around the sun. If it switched its frame of reference to the center of the galaxy, it would shoot way out there to other arms of the Milky Way. And the plot of the story revolved around the fact that when the ship changed its frame of reference, everybody in the ship would go unconscious for a while. They had no memory of the travel, the in-between, the gaps. And this is exactly how our mind works. We change our frame of reference many times in the course of a day, and we blank out for a moment in between. And then we find ourselves in another frame of reference, moving from one thing to the next with no real, firm, steady awareness, no solid memory of how we got there. the purpose of the practice we're doing right now is to be able to change our frames of reference without blinking out, so that we're clear about what we're doing. So that we can see our own patterns, our own cycles. And we can choose the actions that will lead to our happiness, to our peace. Then we can use our developed mindfulness, our developed awareness to function in the world appropriately. So that we can learn to be skillful with our actions. Whatever's happening in the universe, the basic pattern is something you can discern right here in the present moment. You simply need to tune in. Our ability to live together in harmony and peace is a skill we can develop through our meditation. It's through the changing of our frame of reference that a lot of the mechanics of the mind start to become clear. We tend not to see those cycles if we let our awareness blank out during the switch, during the gap. But if we can learn to be conscious as we switch from one frame to the next, we begin to see the way the mind creates a reality for itself out of a whole buzzing confusion of our senses. Of all the sensory input that comes in at any one particular moment, mindfulness allows you to make a choice of what you're going to pay attention to. What frequencies are you tuning into? What memories? What frame of reference are you going to bring in to each moment? Developing mindfulness is an important mental skill as it allows you to shift your frame of reference mindfully, consciously. In this way, you can be wise with your words and truthful with your actions, staying true to who you are while sharing loving kindness with others. Remember these things as you practice. Each mindful moment accumulates into a steady flame, constant awareness. And the whole of this awareness becomes the entirety of your life's experience. We want to learn to be present with our life, to be involved in the experience, to participate in our humanness. Our experience of life can't act if we don't interact with it. We can use our mindfulness in all situations. Mindfulness is not just one level of awareness, one level of experience. It means being very deliberate and clear about what you bring to whatever you're doing, what you're going to remember, what you're not going to remember, what you're going to let go of, what you're going to make use of. Remember, we always have a choice. As we sit here for this hour, we could focus on facts that make us totally miserable. But what does that accomplish? We came here to think about things that are useful for the mind. So remember the things that are useful, the things that are skillful, and that bring peace and love into your heart. pulses coming in and out of the mind. Listen to the ones that are helpful, the ones that are beneficial, unifying, and loving, and set aside all the ones that are not. Just gently tell them, no thank you. I do not receive that thought. You can be selective. This way, mindfulness becomes a quality we can apply to everything. It becomes a refuge, a safe place, our strong roots, sturdy foundation. So keep these points in mind and carry them into your day. And as you share your heart with others, my wish for you is that you find enough goodness in others to believe in a world of peace. And that is day 23 of our Sit for Peace Mindfulness Challenge. Yay, thank you.